Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to sift through the sources and bring you what really matters. Today, we're taking a fascinating journey looking into the August 2025 activities of KOICA, that's the Korea International Cooperation Agency. Now, for anyone maybe not super familiar, KOICA is Korea's main agency for official development assistance, ODA. They operate in, well, over 50 countries, aiming for sustainable development and building global partnerships. We've got their monthly news roundup here, and it really paints a picture of a very busy, very impactful month. So our mission today, let's unpack the crucial takeaways, maybe highlight some surprising bits, and help you, our listener, really grasp the sheer range of KOICA's work. We're talking local community support right here in Korea, all the way to massive global humanitarian efforts. It's quite a look at how local stuff connects globally.
Exactly. And that range, that's what makes this so interesting for a deep dive, right? Because it forces you to think about how all these seemingly quite different efforts actually come together to form something bigger. What's really insightful here is seeing they're not just, isolated events or scattered projects. Each piece of news we'll touch on it links into a broader picture, a picture of global impact, of community building. We'll explore how these diverse activities seem to be, well, carefully designed parts of a larger strategy for sustainable development. The goal, making a real lasting difference in people's lives on lots of different fronts.
Absolutely. And let's kick things off with something, well, pretty heartwarming and really tangible. Starting right at KOICA headquarters in Sinamum, Gyeonggi-do. So on July 25th, KOICA opened its fourth convenience store aimed at people with disabilities. It's called the CU KOICA Store. Pretty unique venture, and this isn't just any old store. It's part of a significant ongoing thing, actually. Came out of a unique agreement between the Korea Disabled People's Development Institute, the Ministry of Health and Welfare, and BGF Retail. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The core purpose. It's about actively supporting the independence of people with severe disabilities and, crucially, creating stable, decent jobs right there in the local community. Right now, it employs 5 people, all with various types of disabilities.
Yeah, and what makes this genuinely, well, groundbreaking isn't just the jobs, though that's obviously huge. It's how KOICA is using something so common, right? A convenience store format. Using it not just for employment, but also to sort of subtly shift how people think and even design standards for accessibility in, the wider commercial world. The store design itself is a key innovation. It really showcases what's called barrier-free design. And this isn't just about making things a tiny bit easier. No, it's fundamentally rethinking the space to, design out exclusion from the very beginning. We're talking wider aisles, specifically so wheelchairs and strollers can move easily. Shelves are installed lower, below 1,200 millimeters, so they're reachable for pretty much everyone. And for those spots, that might still be tricky. They've put in call bells, simple but effective. This kind of commitment to universal design, that's the bedrock of real inclusion. It ensures people with disabilities aren't just sort of tacked on as an afterthought, but are fully integrated, participating just like anyone else. It's a model you could replicate, really, for inclusive economic empowerment. And a powerful statement on how specific design choices can have a massive impact on daily life and maybe broader social attitudes.
Absolutely. And while that store shows KOICA's commitment locally, building inclusive communities right here, that same drive to protect lives and ensure basic dignity, it stretches to huge global emergencies too. It's about building resilience everywhere. So let's pivot a bit now from individual independence to, well, collective survival on a much larger scale. Our next piece of news takes us over to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. The Korea Disaster Relief Team, KDRT, they took part in the ASEAN Regional Disaster Emergency Response Simulation Exercise 2025. It's known as RDEX 25. That was July 22nd to 24th. Now, this exercise, it's organized every 2 years by the AHA Center, which, for listeners, is the main Asian body for disaster management. And it's actually the largest international disaster response simulation in all of Asia, huge scale. So KDRP being there, what does that really mean? Well, it's pretty notable because this was the very first time KDRT was invited. That really says something about the growing international recognition of Korea's capabilities, doesn't it? Picture this, around 200 people on site, highly trained search and rescue teams, medical staff, all from ASEAN member countries and partner nations, and they're responding to simulated major disasters, think devastating floods, destructive typhoons, buildings collapsing everywhere. It's intense, high-stakes training under serious pressure.
Right. And a key takeaway here is what KDRT specifically brought to the table. They weren't just there to, watch or learn. They were actively sharing Korea's advanced disaster response methods and their pretty sophisticated on-site command system with the other ASEAN countries. The exercise was also a critical chance to really test how well international cooperation works in these super high pressure, complex situations, the strategic value. It's in sharing those advanced operational capabilities, especially Korea's integrated command system. That helps lift the collective preparedness of the whole region. It's like building a shared emergency language, a common way of operating across different nations. And these big simulations, they're absolutely crucial. They save lives, they save resources when the real crises inevitably happen. They make sure teams can just click and work together seamlessly, even when things are chaotic. This kind of proactive training, it's way more than just a drill. It's really an investment in regional stability and, well, human security for everyone.
Okay, moving on from disaster response, let's explore how KOICA brings in public voices and embraces sort of modern strategic thinking and how it runs things. We're looking now at the launch briefing for the 5th KOICA Citizen Participation Innovation Team. That happened at KOICA HQ on July 11th. Now, this team isn't brand new. It's actually KOICA's main program for citizen participation. It's been going since 2020, so this is the 5th group. It's specifically designed to listen to the public and really incorporate their ideas into how the institution innovates and manages itself, keeping KOICA responsive, basically. What's really new, and I think exciting for this term, is they've introduced an ESG perspective: environment, social, governance. And this isn't just buzzwords. It's a strategic framework to make sure KOICA's projects aren't just effective development-wise, but also environmentally sound, socially fair, and managed transparently and accountably. Very important stuff. The team has 30 members, 10 people carefully picked for each of those ESG fields. So you've got folks focused on, say, climate change response for environment, others tackling education, healthcare, gender equality for social, and then a group working on transparency and accountability for governance. So what does weaving this ESG framework in with direct citizen input actually mean for KOICA's impact?
Well, the bigger picture here, I think, is about embedding sustainability and accountability right into KOICA's core operations. It's becoming institutionalized. And this isn't some short-term thing. The innovation team will be active for about 18 months, right through until 2026. Their impact is meant to be direct and significant. They'll be involved in KOICA's strategy and policy decisions, actually helping shape the agency's direction. And they'll be engaging directly in KOICA's ESG activities out in the field. ESG, really, at its heart, it's a promise, isn't it? That every project is environmentally sound, socially equitable, ethically governed. So bringing citizens directly into that process, it ensures these values aren't just bolted on later, but are woven right into the fabric of policy from the start. It shifts things from maybe a purely top-down approach to one that's more bottom-up, linked directly to what the public values. This citizen-driven approach, it's designed to make international development cooperation more effective, more responsible, and genuinely sustainable in the long run. It makes policies more relevant, more resilient. It's quite a forward-thinking way to run things in the public sector.
Right. Okay, shifting gears again, let's tap into the energy of youth and global connections. We're looking now at the launch of the KOICA Citizen Participation Supporters, the WEKO 7th cohort. That kicked off August 8th at KOICA headquarters. Their motto is pretty inspiring: grow as you are, cooperate as we are. It's a nice message, that mix of personal growth and collective effort. What really makes this group stand out is how diverse it is. It's a truly global bunch, 100 participants from 42 different countries. You've got 40 domestic supporters from Korea and an impressive 60 global supporters from all over. The launch ceremony itself sounded really creative, actually. The theme was the beginning of a journey to find myself. They even had this concept of boarding a fictional flight KO-1CA on WEKO Airlines to start their journey. Kind of fun. These participants are called growth-oriented supporters. Their job: to plan and carry out their own individual ideas for promoting ODA official development assistance. Just a reminder for listeners, ODA is basically government aid for economic development and welfare in developing countries. So the domestic supporters, they focus more on promotion and marketing projects within Korea, while the global supporters handle really valuable on-site reporting from overseas. Gives you that great dual perspective. How does this kind of youth-led, multi-platform approach change things for ODA, do you think?
I think the core innovation here is really about decentralized storytelling. It's democratizing the narrative around development. This 7th WEKO group, they'll be active for about 5 months, August to December 2025. And importantly, you, the listener, can follow what they're doing across a whole bunch of platforms. There's the official WEKO Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, even TikTok. They're meeting young people where they are by empowering young people from so many different backgrounds to share ODA's impact through their own eyes, their own voices, and on platforms where global youth actually hang out. KOICA is basically turning abstract development ideas into real personal stories. It gives global cooperation a human face, amplified by authentic voices. And that approach, it broadens the reach understanding of ODA massively. It moves beyond dry reports to content that's relatable, accessible. It's smart, really. It recognizes how modern communication shapes public perception and helps foster a new generation of global citizens who are actually invested in development.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so to round out our deep dive into KOICA's busy August, let's focus on public awareness and that vital humanitarian spirit. KOICA held this really engaging pop-up event for World Humanitarian Day. It ran from July 19th to 26th, 2025, right in the middle of the IFC Mall in Uito, Seoul, a really high-traffic spot. And this wasn't just KOICA alone. It was a big collaboration with the Korea NGO Council for Overseas Development Cooperation, KCOC, and get this, 14 different domestic humanitarian nonprofits and international agencies based in Korea. Quite the coalition. The theme they chose was really compelling. An ordinary day, people who protect daily life. The idea was to highlight the everyday lives of people facing humanitarian crises, but also the tireless, often unseen work of the aid workers trying to restore that sense of normalcy. They had some genuinely interactive stuff too, like a humanitarian worker type test, wonder what type I'd be, powerful photo and video exhibitions from crisis zones, and even a humanitarian themed photo booth. Things to draw people in. So how does an event like this, right in a shopping mall, manage to bridge that gap between these, often distant, abstract crises and genuine personal empathy?
Well, this pop-up, it's more than just raising awareness, isn't it? It's really a masterclass in experiential engagement and making humanitarian work seem less distant or mysterious. They were pretty clever about drawing people in, using things like a stamp tour mission where you could get character goods as souvenirs and encouraging people to post on social media right there, the SNS certification thing, boosts the reach. And these tactics clearly worked. The event got a lot of attention. It was really popular. It succeeded in making these complex humanitarian issues feel more accessible to a really broad public right there in a busy mall. By creating interactive elements, putting them in such a familiar everyday space, it kind of lets people step into the shoes of those affected. And those helping, even just for a moment. It shifts you from just passively seeing something to maybe actively feeling some empathy. And that's crucial for building sustained public support and a deeper understanding of what humanitarian efforts actually involve. This kind of creative, hands-on event is key, I think, to making critical global issues hit closer to home and getting more people engaged.
So, okay, let's try and bring this all together. What does this whole collection of initiatives from just 1 month really tell us? KOICA's activities, they cover an incredible range, don't they? We've seen their solid commitment to local accessibility, boosting independence for people with disabilities right here. Then, alongside that, their vital role in global disaster readiness through those advanced simulations, strengthening resilience internationally. We also dug into their innovative approach to citizen-led policy, bringing in public voices and ESG principles to make strategies better, and we celebrated that vibrant youth outreach, empowering young people worldwide to tell the ODA story authentically. And finally, we saw their dedication to raising public awareness about humanitarian issues, making global crises feel more relatable, more engaging. It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it? How all these different efforts are interconnected, all working together somehow towards global well-being and sustainable development.
Absolutely. This broad overview really underscores KOICA's holistic approach. It's not just a random series of projects. What you've laid out feels more like an intricate web of initiatives designed for impact at every level, from the very local, the micro, right up to the global macro scale. And this maybe raises an important question for you, our listener, to think about. How do all these diverse, maybe seemingly separate efforts, from a local convenience store built for accessibility to international disaster drills, citizen policy teams, global youth networks, how do they, when you put them all together, actually create a more resilient, more interconnected global community? And maybe what role can each of us play, even just in understanding or supporting such wide-ranging work? Consider how all these pieces, taken together, might contribute to a safer, fairer, and more sustainable world for everyone. Something to mull over.